Hi all, welcome back to Amelia Finance. So last week recently I did the 4 agile ceremonies from the product manager's perspective. And it's important to realize that there's many different perspectives of the agile ceremonies and the actions that are part of agile. And one of those differences is the way the product manager engages in those ceremonies and the way that the Scrum Master engages. And so today we're going to put on our Scrum Master hat and think like a Scrum Master. So once again, you still have the 4 agile ceremonies: sprint planning, daily stand-up, retrospectives, demos. Consistent across the board. But as a Scrum Master, your lens that you go about doing those things, leading them, facilitating, is again different. So for sprint planning, you as a project manager have taken a look at the backlog. You have some sort of general idea of where things are going, what user stories have been created. Your team should be familiar in how your user stories are built out, or at least there's some sort of alignment to agree on what you guys are building out. And then is making sure that you're asking good questions to support your team. You as the Scrum Master are really there to encourage your team, to make sure that they're not overworked, so that way they're burnt out, not underworked, so that way they say, this is too easy, I'm going to find a new job, and finding that perfect balance point between the two. And so what you're doing is you're probing, you're asking, what licenses do you need? Do you need to be skilled in Java or Python? Do we have enough team members? Do you really think that will take 8 hours? How long do you actually think it will be? We know someone's going on vacation. How does that impact us? And so asking those probing questions, because you're supporting their team, you're making sure that they're understanding of what they're committing to, and that they're probing and pushing the product owner to make sure that their vision is clear. Because if you go ahead and say yes to everything and your team commits to it, then the vision of what's happening could be fuzzy because it wasn't actually probed enough. And so by you pushing back, you're actually helping the vision be developed better, because you're clarifying, well, what does this mean? Or when you say blue, is that turquoise? Is that navy blue? Is that teal? What is blue in your mind? And so really just asking those good questions and supporting your team is really critical with that. And you have a positive relationship with your product owner. You're not pushing back and saying, no, they can't do work. You're just making sure that you've done a really good job so that way the team knows that you're behind them. And when they go and they work on things, you're not just throwing out large unachievable amounts of work. They're actually able to work on this. Additionally, I like to do, when I do doing level of estimates, LOE scoping, I like to do the theorem of the 0, 0, 1, the Fibonacci numbers. So so it starts with 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, onwards and farther. And so what that does is it helps with being able to putting estimates together, because at some point people aren't able to scale or scope for those estimates accurately. And that's a really good thing, because that actually allows your product owner to go and probe and clarify those asks better, because no one can give accurate estimates. Then they need to actually go and they need to develop and focus and understand what they're actually requesting in that user story. The second ceremony is the daily stand-up. So this is something where if your team is located in a single location, you'll usually have it Monday through Friday. The recommendation is do it earlier in the morning, around 9 or 10 a.m. when people are in the office. And you ask 3 questions. And you as the Scrum Master are the one asking these questions. What did you work on yesterday? What are you working on today? What are your blockers or challenges? So this daily stand-up does need some flexibility, right? If your team is only in one geolocation in a single time zone, fantastic. You can have it Monday through Friday potentially. But if your team is located in Europe and Costa Rica, North America, Philippines, Asia, you may say, you know what, we're going to make a decision, a team decision, and we're going to have our daily stand-ups be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe earlier in the day, maybe at 7 a.m. even, or later in the day at 6 p.m., just to help the team, because everyone's in different time zones. Some fun things to do so that way you can have a little bit more flexibility is you could do bots. So Teams support this, Slack supports it, some other instant messaging supports it, where you just have the bot ask those 3 questions that that you're requesting the team to share with you for updates. And then from there, try and listen for themes. If there's a really challenging issue the team's encountering, start highlighting that to your product owner, to your other stakeholders. If your dev team is like, we can't move forward because we don't have these correct licenses, right? Surface that. As soon as you hear that, start moving quickly so that way you can unblock them. If you know you have a new team member coming on the team, what do you need in order to set them up for success? So thinking through what you need to do to make sure that your team can move forward and they're not sitting back, relaxing, or just twiddling their thumbs. The third key agile ceremony is the retrospective. This is where you open it up to the team, and what I like to do, and I'm going to read this off, is I like to start off with this statement. Regardless of what we discover, we understand and truly believe that everyone did the best job they could, given what they knew at the time, their skills and abilities, the resources available, and the situation at hand. And so what's nice is that level sets the conversation, and then from there you go and ask the team, what were the gems? What were the great things that really stood out as positives during the sprint? Then you ask, what were the thorns, or what were the rocks? What were things that were very challenging and difficult? And then thirdly, you ask, what are things that we could do to improve our current process? And this is a brainstorming session. No answer is incorrect. I've seen people do it physically in the room with sticky notes. I've seen people just talk through it and you have a note taker. Sometimes if you're in different geolocations, you'll say, let's all do a mural or a Microsoft whiteboard. So there's lots of ways that you can go about facilitating this. And just remember, it's brainstorming. No answer is incorrect. It's all about people's opinion, and this is once again a safe space that people can express their feelings, talk through improvements, make recommendations, and what you're trying to do is each sprint, you're trying to apply those feedbacks and learnings so that way it's better the next time. And every team is going to have different highlights. Maybe some teams say, you know what, I thought the team luncheon after the sprint was actually a waste of time. I wanted to just go home. Or, you know what, I really love when we do X. That really excites me. I really appreciate when someone brings me a big coffee in the morning, right? Like, could we build that into our team budget so that way we can make that a once a week thing, right? So asking the team what you can do to encourage them and what they need in order to work most successfully, whether that be, I really need a room that's quiet. This open concept floor plan isn't doing it for me, or I still need licensing to this particular module. Like, I can't move forward on stage 2. So just make sure that the team is making sure that you're listening to the team and making sure that they're heard. That's the critical thing in a retrospective. And then fourth and finally, the demo. So you and your product owner might trade off on who's facilitating this. But once again, this is for your team to shine. This is where you want everyone to speak, right? Like everyone in your team, you actually want to speak in these retrospectives. Perhaps only 3 people speak first time. The next time you want a different set of 3 people. So you want to just make sure that everyone's growing in self-development. And this is part of that, is that public speaking, that presenting, that learning how to just improve and share what you did, and be excited and be enthusiastic and be able to show the results that you were able to achieve. And this is for junior team members to show entry-level things that they did. This is for more senior teammates to be able to present better. So this is really a growth opportunity for everyone to be able to really just demonstrate the neat things that they did. And this is where you, as your Scrum Master, should be inviting your stakeholders, your supporting teams, anyone that you think would be interested to know what you're doing. This is a fantastic opportunity to do that. And then it's also great to record it, send an email, store it in a shared location. If you are able to call out exactly where in the video that you demonstrated X or Y, some really neat feature, call that out, get that excited, right? Make sure that people are recognized for what they did and share that with your broader team because everyone actually wants to celebrate. With that, thanks for watching Amelia Finance. Like, follow, ask questions, and be back for more. Thanks all. Bye.